So, long story short, I don't know. It's like, sometimes I try to add it up. Like, how many days if I were to crunch all the days together, like this fox, um, I skinned him, butchered him, like, it was in the fall. It was probably like November, December, maybe, winter. And like now it's April. So, the process for each skin is often like months and months long because I do other things and I do them in different stages. But sometimes I'm like, oh, if I were to crunch together, like, how many days of work does one fox take me? I'm like, I don't know. Like, it could be, especially with my like slow speed and tea breaks, and it's gotta be like 5 solid days of work or something ridiculous like that. Yeah, and so the second round of softening, the second day of softening, I'm just really married to it. I really don't put it down for very long at all between rounds of softening. I prefer to soften in the shade rather than in the sun so that it goes more slowly so that I can really stay on top of softening it as it's drying. The hide doesn't get away from me at all, so I don't end up with any stiffness. And then, of course, I don't know, for some of you who've done some tanning, um, for me, there's that element of like, okay, it feels dry, and there's all, you can touch a hide, and the parts that feel a little cool or cold to the touch usually tell you, oh, there's a little more moisture in there. You got to keep paddling and softening the hide until there's really no water content left anywhere in there. And the thickest parts of the hides, so the spine, and the neck are usually the last parts to dry because they're the thickest skin. So I'm usually like still softening those parts, maybe taking half-hour breaks, because I don't want to put it down like, oh, it's done, and then I don't know, tanner friends, I usually like to just let it drape on a chair or something. I go to sleep, and then you wake up the next morning. I do. And I wake up and I kind of like look at that hide with like it's a funny scenario where I'm just like, oh God, like it looks the same, but you go and you like touch it. It's all about the touching. Where you're like, does it feel the same as it did last night? And I always like reach for the neck. And sometimes, if you hadn't softened all the way, if there was still water content in there, and you left it, and then the hide continued to dry until it was dry, by the morning, you touch the neck, and it's like, no, it feels like hard plastic, no! It's just like tanner's nightmare. It happens to me in all different ways with all my different experiments with vegetable tanning, too. So the best thing is like wake up in the morning, look at your hide, like, oh God, you feel it, you're like, oh yes, it's still soft and buttery, like it was the night before. Or it's stiff, and then it's just stiff, or do another round of softening another time. And then obviously this is going to have to be smoked, so after this quarantine is over, it's really the one thing I can't do here in this city is smoke all these hides. Used to have a way of doing that, like in cities and row houses with like a little grill, but there's no way I can get away from that here. I can't even like get punk wood here, so as soon as this quarantine's over, I'm gonna want to smoke some hide. And all my old hides, all my old garments, I like to re-smoke them every year, so they're all aching to be smoked. So I'm gonna have a hide smoking party. So technically, this guy isn't done, but he's done being softened for me, which is wonderful. I will show you. So these are foxes, and I think I actually like foxes better brain tanned rather than vegetable tanned because they're so lightweight that way. They brain tan relatively easily. And then they're just really nice for garments that way. They're nice too, vegetable tanned. They're beautiful both ways, but they're going to be a little bit heavier. Vegetable tanned furs are going to be a little bit heavier. And in cold weather, they will stiffen up a little bit more because there's pure fats in them. There's either an oil like an olive oil or a lard, like I use bear fat and rendered fats from lots of other animals. So just like butter gets liquidy in the warmth and then solidifies and gets hard in the cold, the leather will stiffen up a little bit in the cold because the fats inside are solidifying. And then when it gets warm again, it relaxes. So sometimes for winter garments, like, I'm in the southeastern part of the US here, so it doesn't get super cold. So the way I approach winter garments, it gets into the teens really only in the winter. We don't usually get into the single digits. So, I have winter garments of vegetable tanned and brain tanned furs both, and I like them both. I will show you, like, I'll just mention raccoons. So for any of you that try to brain tan raccoons, no matter how it turns out, like, you're a rock star. Like, you have worked darn hard. If you have just skinned a raccoon, you have worked hard. If you have fleshed it, attempted to tan it, even if you've come out with anything remotely flexible, like, you are amazing. Like, you have, what a wonderful accomplishment. I just wanted to mention raccoons because raccoons often tend to be people's the first fur they skin or the first fur they try to tan because they're so abundant as roadkill, because they just get hit, they're all over the roadsides. So they're common, and their fur is nice and soft, and they seem like a great hide to tan. They are, but I will just say, like, as a small fur tanner, like, I like to do all the different forms of tanning in as many animal species as I possibly can. I'm a huge generalist with tanning, but within that, small fur hides are definitely my focus. It's where most of my hours and time go. So as a small hide tanner, I can tell you, like, raccoons are hard. Like, they're a crucible. They will punch you in the gut of your self-esteem if you let them, even if you try not to let them. They're difficult. So, like, God, I spent like 2 years. I was just so determined to, like, brain tan raccoons super soft. I think I tried for like 2 or 3 years. Like, I will get raccoons! And they just punched me in the gut every time. So then I started vegetable tanning raccoons for a while, for a number of years. And they came out good that way, and there's pros and cons both way. But this is the only brain tan raccoon hide I have with me at the moment. This is a bag from years ago. I love this bag. Like, the tail flaps over, and then that sort of keeps it closed. I love this bag. That's wonderful. So I can't quite show you the hide super well because it's already sewn into a bag. But here's brain tan raccoon. And I will tell you, this was years ago, this hide. But I'll tell you, I did 3 rounds of dressing and softening on this hide just to get it where it is. And it's much stiffer than, it's a little bit stiffer. Yeah, I would say it's much stiffer than the fox. Like, this is not butter at all. Like, it's flexible, it's pliable. This is not going to be like, it's just not going to be like a rabbit or a fox. Raccoons, their skin is thicker, their skin is tougher, they're extremely greasy, and you have to get all the grease out. And that really impedes the tanning process. I'm trying to really get in there so you can see, like, some thick brain tan fur leather. It's not like making plasticky noises. Like, I can do all this to it, right? But it's tough, which is what makes raccoons really great for bags and hats, because, for an example, like these super floppy rabbits. Sorry, I keep checking the time. Okay, let's do